Hi everyone, welcome to Executive Women in Vietnam, the program that speaks with senior executive female that works here. We'll talk about their pain and gain working here, and today I'm very lucky to have Ms. Fong-Chan Zeuthen here with me. I'm Winnie Lam. I am the host of the program and I'm the Business Solution Directors at AB Horizon Vietnam. So, Fong-Chan, you've been here for 14 years.
Yeah.
14,
correct.
okay. By chance you were here, or was it by choice to start with?
By chance.
By chance?
Yes.
And I think it only proves to be a good chance then.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, you are a master architect and the founder of KAZE, which is an interior design firm.
Correct.
I must mention that it is a very acclaimed firm having garnered international, local, and regional awards, which is a very new area for Vietnam when it comes to, interior design and things like that. So tell us a little bit about the industry itself in Vietnam so that we get a little bit more understanding.
Yes. Interior design, I guess that it was an industry that actually only existed when I first arrived. Mm-hmm. And I was very lucky to get into a fairly international interior design company. Mm-hmm. And from there,
things just happened.
Yeah, things just happened. But I guess interior design do exist here, and also as an education. Mm-hmm. But it's limited within Vietnam. Mm-hmm. So I guess that I saw the opportunity to bring something to the country.
And you did.
Yeah.
So when we look at building design and things like that, a few things come to mind. Having been to Vietnam for an extended period of time, we see a lot of historical buildings, European influence and whatnot, are quickly disappearing.
Yes.
We're definitely very concerned about the conservation of such. Is there any hope that we'll be keeping those buildings? Are they just really going to disappear?
Oh, that's one of these big questions. I keep having a hope that someone will realize that we need to keep at least a part of it. If you can just keep a couple square meter where we can embrace the architecture, we can still modernize it inside, but keep the facade and keep some of the history. It's I think it's incredibly important for any city. And there's quite good examples for other cities in Asia that they have done this little change, but they keep the old facades and the older areas and turn it into boutique, low density retail, and it's much more interesting than just having shopping malls. I think kind of shopping malls, I shouldn't say that, but I feel that shopping malls somehow had its time. Of course, there will always be an audience for shopping malls, but I mean, when you do a shopping mall, then at least do it well. And Singapore, for example, are incredibly good at doing shopping malls. So it's very difficult to do something here, and you will always be measured. So really my advice is, please, if you do a shopping mall, do it well.
Well, I think part of the challenge here could be, it's still a very early phase when it comes to urban planning. We go from very low density to suddenly become seeing a lot of high density properties. It seems to be an odd building sprouting up here and there without a lot of planning, and then new matchboxes being built everywhere without a lot of purpose.
Yeah.
Is it how you see it?
Yes, I see. We kind of, again, I met architects that do sitting in with city planners. And I actually think that Ho Chi Minh do have plans. Unfortunately, there's also a lot of money involved. And with that, it seems like the one that can put the biggest amount on the table gets that way. And I'm not sure there is any kind of selection of architecture. So they're kind of allowed to build whatever they want, as long as just keep in within the boundaries and the heights. And you will never allow that in Europe, for example. And is it good or is it bad? I think you cannot blame it. It's a part of a very powerful development, which we do also want. We want the middle class to raise up. We want to give good things to everybody. But it's a very difficult thing to control, and we see it today. So matchboxes, yes, they are coming up. Most of the apartments here, people don't live in them. They buy them for investments. And you kind of wonder, can they rent them out? And everybody thinks, oh, we're going to rent out for expats. But I don't think there's going to be so much for expats anymore. I think it's going to be for the middle-class Vietnamese. And I see it in my own team, that they have the leverage today to be able to actually buy apartments and live there, which is great.
Yeah, which is absolutely great. I think it is a process that we go through. I'm sure eventually the matchboxes will be improved and will be replaced by something a little bit more efficient, for example. Talking about efficiency, like everywhere in the world, we're talking about sustainable building, you know. I don't know, at this stage with the development in Vietnam, are we ready to talk about sustainable building? Can it actually happen here?
Yeah, it can happen here, but
That big but.
Exactly, because this all comes down to that the individual developer is interested in not only just to get a short-term gain, but actually it's interesting in, let's say, investing and putting money into his or her building and make sure that it is sustainable for Vietnam.
Is it a more layman term for sustainable building?
Here, I don't think people actually know what sustainable means. I met a few developers that was saying, oh, we're going to make something eco. And I said, yeah, that sounds good. So what are you going to do? Are you going to do water collection? Are you going to do solar system? Are you going to do some wind energy? Are you going to try to actually reuse the energy for your buildings? And they were, no, I was just going to plant some green trees. And it was like, well, that actually doesn't get you very far. That's not the idea of an ecological sustainable kind of system. And we have many chances in Vietnam to actually use the natural energy we have here. We have the sun, we have the wind, we have the water. And said that, there are companies that are doing it. There are windmills parks coming up. We are doing green energy, but the amount of green energy we're doing in Vietnam is significantly small compared to the, let's say, the all over plans of how you want to get energy in Vietnam.
So
that's a different subject.
As a regular household,
yeah,
is there things that they can do to make their own building more sustainable?
Absolutely. I mean, and I actually think the Vietnamese are doing it because this is the interesting part, because they come from the countryside and they come from relatively poor condition. So actually Vietnam is really good at being sustainable in itself, because we don't have anything problem with garbage as such, because people are collecting garbage. They can sell the garbage again. You collect the cans and plastic, everything there you can actually do. So we don't really have the same problem. You do actually collect water. But I think it should be done, for example, when we do a big development, like say 30 levels, stories, 6 apartments on each level, we should collect water for all the toilets and things that we don't need to have clean water for example. Stuff like that will just help it, and also all the green areas. Collect the water and use the water for that, instead of tapping into a system.
So it's good to hear that Vietnamese is actually quite good in the area, even
good.
though they may not know they're actually doing and contributing to a particular cause. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
So let's shift the focus a little bit. All right. Going forward, what will be the focus of the industry? Is like, what do you think will happen in terms of designing? What is it, a trend?
Yeah. It's interesting with design in Asia particularly, because interior design in Asia is actually well, it's a full study here. We don't have interior design as such back in Europe. We are all architects. We just work in different scale. And here, it is a subject. And that means, I guess that it's a kind of a fashionable thing too. And I can see the Vietnamese love fashion and they love to show off. And I think the interior is becoming this thing as well. It's going to be something that you want to show off your nice home, your nice apartment. You want to show that you have style, that you can afford things. And I believe in Vietnam, it will definitely come, because I never met a population that are so aware of themselves. So for example, the beauty industry, I was actually shocked because they are much more focusing on beauty than we do back in Europe. So I definitely, interior design is something that will be developed throughout, and we will get better opportunities to get interior design things, decoration stuff. Because right now, all honesty, it's very, very difficult to find interior decoration stuff in Vietnam. And you kind of wonder, because there's actually a lot of shops around, but when you really go into the shops and you look at what they got, it's quite limited. Or they got things that are extremely expensive, which is almost like insult, because you're gonna pay $5,000 for a table, and it doesn't add up with where, let's say, the social status is right now.
Okay. How about your own business, or you personally? You know, 14 years is not a short time in a foreign country.
No.
So you seeing yourself continue to make it home, continue to churn out excellent design so that we could have Vietnam winning awards here?
Absolutely. I guess I'm here for the long terms. You know, when you experience it yourself, you're here for 1 year, you wonder, should I go home? You make the 5-year mark, and if you pass that mark, you kind of, there's no way back. And I take my company 5 years at a time. So I've done my first year, and I take my other 5 years and say, okay, down the road, this is what we're going to achieve.
All right.
Yes.
Now, being this as a program on executive women in Vietnam, I got to ask a, gender-related question. I would say, in a broader sense, architecture is very much seen to be a more male-dominant kind of industry, or it is not. Design, we'll see it in more a female kind of dominant industry. So do you feel that it's like being a female helps you with being a designer?
Yeah, I guess there's a truth to it, definitely. And I guess it used to be very important for me to say to people that I'm not an interior designer, I'm actually an architect with a master degree. It was, but now it's just like, okay, you can call me interior decorator, whatever. I know what I do. But yes, there is, I guess, guys, because architecture is more mathematics and it's more technical. And I guess for some female, they kind of, it's a more softer things they want to work with. But said that, in my office, I have excellent architects, really sharp-headed, strong women. And I have very soft interior designer guys that are excellent at that. So, it's, you can't really say if it's one way or the other. It's really up to the individual.
Excellent. I think it's very good news to hear, especially for the younger generation, that there really no gender bias in terms of choosing a passion to pursue. And it's good that you're bringing us some insights into an industry that we don't usually have any information on unless you're within the industry. So thank you very much for the information today, Fong-Chan. I hope to be able to speak to you again, and congratulations for reaching the 5 years mark for your firm, and hopefully many more 5 years to come and many more awards for Vietnam to come.
Thank you.
Thank you. So here we are today. It brings the program to a close with Ms. Fong-Chan today. I'm your host, Winnie Lam of Executive Women in Vietnam, and hope to see you at the next episode.